So at what point did you, because like I joke about it all the time. I go back, I've got like old school videos and like, man, around that 2000 mark, probably 99, 2000 was when like, mini DVs and stuff. And I was out there recording with my buddies and like just having a blast doing it. I mean, when did that happen for you? Like what was that trigger, I guess?
That happened when I was 16.
Okay. So how long ago was that, Jared?
So that would have been 2001.
Yeah.
I'm old.
No, me too, dude. Me too. I'll be 40 in April. So
yeah, that would have been 20, almost 23. Well, upcoming, but 23 years ago.
Yeah. Scary to think that, but
I really, there was three things in high school. I kind of was, you got to figure out what you're going to do for the rest of your life. That was the mentality that you're being, not that it was wrong, but it's like, yeah, what am I going to do? And I knew it was something hunting or archery.
Okay.
And for a while I was leaning more archery. I went into the shop class, built, from my memory, there was only a couple of drop-away arrow rests on the market at the time.
Yeah.
And I'd go in, when I turned 16, I'd go in early to the shop class and machined out and I still got it, an original prototype of a drop-away arrow rest that had a fail-proof spring system.
Oh,
that
very cool.
The others did. And by the time I got done engineering that, I already had picked it apart. Like, here's its faults. Here's where it could be improved upon. I redesigned some things. I actually shot my original for a year. But by the time I got done, I was like, I don't have the capital to get this thing launched. And I don't have any connections, and I'm 16. And it just realistically, I was like, I'll come back to engineering. If I was going to go to college after high school, it was going to be probably for mechanical engineering in the archery industry. That was one thing. I didn't have the money to go to college. I grew up on a small farm. It was something I was going to have to float myself. And also the way I'm wired is if I'm not interested in it, I barely either passed classes or I did very well in my classes. And that format didn't work out well for college. I knew that. So, so I never went, the other thing is I thought about and considered, doing my own archery shop. I worked in an archery shop at 17, and got enough of a taste of that to realize, I don't want to be in the shop during hunting season that much. It was a great experience. But getting back to those were the two things. And then the third, that was probably my deeper, what I felt was what I should do, which was produce hunting films. Which
at that point was kind of the heyday of like outdoor TV, right? I mean, that early 2000 time period.
Yeah. So I didn't have a video camera. I was 16 and couldn't afford one. And my grandmother actually co-signed for me at Best Buy. And that first camera was a high 8. Took these high 8 tapes. It was $1,800 and I think $52 or $53 is what it came to. It had 18 months 0 interest financing at Best Buy. And they had that deal, and that's how I got a pretty cool story actually of the very first tape that I ever filmed. Maybe I'll share someday, but it's a pretty cool background story. Now looking back on things, but there's I'm gonna have to get all those old tapes digitized, and
it's fun to think about that, man. Like I go back into like your point of kind of the early Whitetail Adrenaline stuff is like, there was never like a beginning, a middle, a climax. It didn't ever pan out. It was just like we were out here, and then here came some deer, and like whatever, we had muzzleloaders, we were shooting at them, and then it just it ended. Did you get them? Probably not. That's why there was nothing else afterwards.
Right. So I mean, that's where my filming started. But then I did that for a few years, and I don't know, probably I was 20, right around 20. 2021, and I kind of got cold feet about my pursuit of, I hadn't started. I had the name, but I didn't want it to wreck hunting for me. Really,
Yeah.
I got in. I got it. My head wrapped around it enough. I filmed some hunts with an outdoor writer. He's since passed, Jeff Murray.
Yep.
He's since passed. I filmed a couple hunts with him. Dan Wichurek, which was on the first Dream season.
Yep.
Did some filming with him. Dan's actually, I'll never forget. I got my first real camera upgraded from that was a Canon XL2, and the juries were running, those types of cameras, XL1Ss, G1s, G2s, was it GL2s?
GL2s, yeah.
Stuff like that. And I got the XL2 and all the, everything. And at that time, I was just, filming whatever, just like you would if you didn't know what you were doing. You just, there's a turkey, there's a deer, there's
Yeah.
And I'll never forget when Dan Wichurek, after I bought that camera, he said to me, you're gonna need to have some sort of storyline to go with. And that was back in 2004.
Wow.
He said, you're gonna have to have some sort of storyline. And looking at hunting content back then, I'd go out and film my hunts, and all is what you watch, right?
Right.
Go out and you do the recreations and you get this shot, get that shot, and I just kind of played around with it, and I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
It was taking fun out of hunting for me with that format, and so I actually gave the name Whitetail Adrenaline. I gave that name to somebody else about a year before. Gave it to him like, hey, if you want to use this, I don't think I'm actually going to do it.
Oh, wow.
Because he was talking about doing a show, and I was like, it's a great name, I think, but maybe it's not your, but I was just like, I don't think I'm going to do it. I think it'll ruin it for me. So, and then I ended up, he never did anything with it. And, it wasn't like a contract or anything like that. It's not anything there. So I ended up, as fate should have it, in 2007, my cousin Jim and I, we were just like, I think he was actually the one that just said, Jared, let's go just have a good time and just film whatever, and whatever comes of it. And I was like, you know what? I can live with that. Like, basically film our hunts with no format. Like, that's not going to ruin my experience of hunting.
Well, what was funny, dude, is like, obviously, and it, your description of Jim saying that, I can easily picture,
Let's get in a van here, go down and just film some stuff,
But to your point, when you said, all we knew was what we were watching on TV, you and I know that's not how we hunted. That wasn't the hunts that we were doing in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. I mean, I was doing Orange Army drives and, banging deer out of, briar thickets and grapevines, and I didn't see that on TV.
Right. And, how do I say this? I think for a long time, I did things my own way, which would work for me. Like, I could still enjoy hunting. I could still be true to what hunting was for me in whichever ways that was. Like in 2006, the year before I started, I that was kind of a reevaluation season. And I decided if I was going to, by the time that season was done, I decided if I was going to gun hunt for deer, there's basically three methods I'm going to do that. It's either tracking them, still hunting them, or deer drives.
Yep.
And that's just, and that's my own personal.
Sure.
That's not for me to hold to anybody else as a standard or a way that they gotta, but that's what I evaluated for myself, there. But, I had to do things a certain way with Whitetail Adrenaline to keep it pure and true for me.
Yeah. You still have that passion with it.
Sometimes I've felt like I've gotten a cold shoulder maybe at times because I, almost like maybe I had an agenda or something behind it. It's like, no, I'm just doing this
Yeah.
I'm hunting on the ground because that's what I love to do. I'm doing public land because that's what I love to do. You know, I love the adventure of it and all. And, you know, I don't like knowing everything about the deer, but a lot of my friends do. And a lot of my friends run cameras and do all that. I don't like that personally, but it's a personal thing. And it's not anything that I ever tried to set a standard that all must live by and all must follow that.
Sure.
And it's just my own thing, you know. So.
Take me on down the river.